Alright, hello everyone, and now welcome to a game. This game is going to be between Foggy and KraV, taking place here on Last Refuge. Foggy spawning as the yellow Night Elf player on the bottom left-hand side of the map. Meanwhile, KraV spawning as the purple Undead on the top right. Should be a great game here as things get underway. Altar of Darkness, Crypt, Ziggurat, all of that coming together over here. Meanwhile, Foggy opening things up. Altar of Elders with a Warden, Ancient of War, and a Moonwell. We are looking at, well, rushing to the 2-minute mark to get this game underway as KraV goes for a Proxy Necropolis. Alright, Proxy Necropolis gains a little bit of blight off over here. You can actually start building ziggurats and then start haunting a gold mine. Not quite sure if that is the intended purpose or not. We'll have to keep a close eye on that. Meanwhile, Foggy already moving off to the north with that Warden, already picked up a Ring of Protection +3 as a second Ancient of War now being placed down. Death Knight ready to lead the charge here, perhaps go after the Ogre Magi. Didn't sell the Scroll of Town Portal, doesn't have a sacrificial scroll for that blight, and well, we'll see how this creep camp clears as the Warden comes in for the harass. There's a quick Shadow Strike onto a ghoul, and well, Death Knight, well, leading the army, trying to make sure that that ghoul is gonna be okay. There's a death coil for the save there, and well, as the ghoul able to escape away and never really get into any danger zone problems with that Shadow Strike. Now, Death Knight of KraV has to play a little bit more defensively as the Warden is on the hunt for ghouls. Now, during this time though, these ghouls are just going to be clearing out some of the necropolis here, trying to clear out some of the lumber line here and gain a large amount of lumber. The Warden here putting in pressure. We don't see any upgrades either, and I'm still curious as to why exactly KraV went for this particular necropolis there. Having a second necropolis allows you allows undead players to train up acolytes while teching to tier 2, so that could be the play there. It takes quite a while, but teching the tier 2 often means that you setting up an expansion also means delaying your tech to tier 2 as well. Ancient of War, well, absolutely tanking a lot of that damage here. Warden now making its way back. We see triple archers here going after the Ogre Magi and this Ogre Warrior camp. Alright, level 2 on that Warden. Potion of Greater Mana. Nice pickup for that Warden. Perhaps if we are looking at Blink or Fan of Knives or anything of that nature, the Warden will be able to get a little bit more damage as well. Taking down those units. Tome of Knowledge, picking it up and finishing off that last 4 Scroll Trapper as a skeleton minion. Just gonna, well, feed experience here if it's not very careful. Oh wow, there it goes, finally getting taken down. Archer showing 16 to 18 damage as we are also teching the tier 2 by Foggy. Death Knight off to the north here does have the sacrificial scroll, maybe trying to set up a ziggurat and then perhaps haunting that gold mine now. Death Knight did end up selling that Scroll of Town Portal, and I like the pivot by KraV. KraV was scouted out early by Foggy, and Foggy well, did end up building a large army right behind this, so Foggy well, delayed KraV's plans, but KraV still able to pivot his plans into a potential expansion as the Warden gets to level 2. Also picking up a Sobi mask, that's also that's often a very scary proposition. The Warden with plenty of mana regeneration or mana items could be able to get down multiple Shadow Strikes and really wreak havoc on these paths here. As well, the Death Knight uses that crystal ball and reveals the fact that he did clear out that creep camp by revealing that crystal ball use. Or, well, it could have been a Goblin Laboratory reveal as well, but I think how long that circle lasts should be an indication to Foggy that it was in fact a crystal ball instead of the 50 gold for that Goblin Laboratory. Alright, and to clear things out, there's a big Fan of Knives right there. Level 2 Fan of Knives, clearing things out, and making me wonder if Foggy realized that the expansion was cleared out here, so it could force ghouls a little bit longer. But KraV is already at tier 2, so he could easily transition into Crypt Fiends. this is a really weird spot. You can see the tech to tier 2 is done. You can see a gold mine is being haunted. There is plenty of necropoli to fully saturate this haunted gold mine. Nerubian Tower is already up, and now the Warden needs to make her way off to the north. Warden versus Undead hype. And now in comes that Warden here. Are we going to perhaps see a fan of knives here? Not that many ghouls, so it's not going to be a good trade on mana, as the Warden does get up to level 4. Level 2 Shadow Strike and a level 2 Fan of Knives are an option. And where these ghouls going to go? Perhaps they're going to get Fan of Knives right here. And there's a Death Coil. And right as a Death Coil, or as the Shadow Strike went down. So interesting play here. Are we going to see a Fan of Knives, or there's another Shadow Strike? That's going to be, one ghoul down. Death Knight didn't have the mana, as we are looking at a Lich now make its way out. All right, the Nerubian Tower should slow down, but a double Shadow Strike all the way. What does it mean? A dead ghoul, as the Warden, well, Staff of Teleportation in order to get away. Back down to the south side here, the Archers, Force Troll, Shadow Priest. Foggy is, well, playing a 2-army game. The Warden acting as, well, behind enemy lines, a saboteur unit trying to disrupt things, while the Archers and the Ancients of War themselves are tanking damage and dishing it out. Heading off to the north here, Death Knight Lich ready to, Death Knight Lich, level 3, level 1. We are at level 2. We don't see a second hero, not surprised, as the Warden is now nearly at level 5. All right, there's a Shadow Strike right there. Gonna perhaps go after some of those targets. One Acolyte, is he gonna have enough regeneration? No, he should not. Or is he gonna get denied? No, all right, so they are all together. They are not getting Fan of Knives. And, well, Shadow Strike to just finish off Acolyte after Acolyte. That Acolyte may end up getting taken down while inside the Zeppelin. Not something you see every day. Lich, Death Knight, looking to clear out the Ogre Mauler here. It looks as though, well, the Lich double gloves the pace. Not going to matter very much. Not getting up to level 2, as the tech to tier 3 is nearly done. All right, trying to remove that economic advantage, and Foggy trying to get to level 5. What item was dropped there? A Scroll of the Beast quickly sold, picks up a potion of invisibility, and now heading off to the north here. Are we going to see a little bit more attacks? This is an interesting spot. Foggy no longer needs the experience for that Warden, and the Warden now does have level 3 Fan of Knives, so going to come back across here, perhaps gets enough of the Acolytes, Fan of Knives, and then clear things out. Nope. Yes. Wait for it. Wait for it. Getting close to the gold mine. There's that Fan of Knives. There's one. There's another. There's another Shadow Strike. And now causing problems all across. Now that there is that level 5 Warden, does pick up a Panda as the second hero, as the Warden is still trying to cause, well, havoc behind enemy lines. I was about to say base paths, but I don't know how many American viewers I have that would understand the reference to baseball. Insane Warden play so far. Definitely that Warden pretty much doing all of that work by herself. That's been the most impressive part, and also getting to level 5. I like the follow-up play to get a Panda. We've seen how effective Breath of Fire, Fan of Knives combination can be as a devastating 1-2 punch. And that also gave an opportunity for the Warden to get that bonus experience by being a solo level hero up until level 5. All right, and is this a new style of play? That could be a question here, as we're looking at the Gargantuan Sea Turtle trying to chomp down on that Brewmaster. Druid of the Claw needs to rejuvenate himself as well, taking a little bit too much damage, as the Forest Troll Shadow Priest also suffers from a little bit of poison. Warden still wreaking havoc inside the main base here. There's another Fan of Knives. Is going to go ahead get after another ghoul. And the Warden currently sitting at, well, 5 1/3. Is he going to teleport away? He is. Lich, Death Knight. Warden has really nowhere to go right now. Just doesn't even have a blink as an option, just trying to slowly walk out of here, and by doing so is buying a bit of time. There's another Shadow Strike. Death Knight comes across with the Death Coil. I don't know if he needed to use that potion of mana there. If he was buying time, could have used it earlier, and it would have worked out perhaps just a bit better. All right, there's a Drunken Haze. Now going to pull these units back. Druid of the Claw is at mastery mode. Not quite sure why it is in its quote-unquote fighting form, taking some damage in that front line, and should really be transforming back now. We should be looking at perhaps a rejuvenation on that Brewmaster as well, down to, what, 371 hit points. Still more damage to be had, as the Warden still wreaking havoc along the gold mine line here. There goes another Acolyte. There goes another Acolyte, trying to just finish off all of these units, and currently low on mana, stopping everything there. And then, well, it is nightfall, so could Shadow Meld and just hold that position. All right, Panda, behind enemy lines, gonna spot all of this. Foggy has that endurance aura, gonna go ahead and Staff of Teleportation, perhaps try to rejoin in on the fight. And here we go. Archer's gonna go ahead and Shadow Meld. There's a Scroll of Count Portal going back the other way, and now Foggy says, you know what, I don't want to be in this battle at all. We're gonna see a departing Fan of Knives. No, we are not, as Foggy is now setting up a gold mine on the southern side. Do remember, behind this, KraV has had this second base. Economically speaking, well, has mined 2,500 more gold from this gold mine. This one, 67 versus 50. Okay, so maybe only 1,000 gold more. And then once you account for all of the infrastructure here, perhaps it has been about, and the lost acolytes, probably similar amount of gold being mined and then spent on infrastructure, as opposed to having it redirected towards the armies. But right now, the story is going to be this army. Well, it has transitioned away from ghouls. We are now looking at the beefier, higher hit point abominations, which is absolutely necessary when you know your opponent has gone for the Brewmaster, Breath of Fire, and that Fan of Knives on that Warden. Skeletal Minion scouts out the southern side here. We're going to be looking off to the north. KraV going to see the remainder of a red creep camp. The Overlord already taken down. That powerful item already in the hands, or I guess in the backpack of Foggy's Brewmaster. Alright. Overlord taken down here. Let's see what item. It is going to be a Cloak of Flames. And with that Cloak of Flames, Breath of Fire, Fan of Knives, a lot of damage just standing next to that Brewmaster or being in that front line spot. Is there enough of a front line? And that is going to be the important question now, as the Warden sitting at 5.5. Level 5, level 4, going up against a level 4 and potentially level 3 if the Lich and Death Knight can get a quick and easy kill across some of those units. We are getting up one Obsidian statue with more abominations coming behind this. I am surprised. A single slaughterhouse, and I'm wondering, well, the Temple of the Dam is for the Banshees there. All right. Brewmaster sitting at level 4. Warden ready to perhaps dive in once again, try to finish off some of these units again. There's a Staff of Teleportation inbound, and now, no, does only gets one kill there, and now perhaps going to go after some of these ghouls instead. There's some damage racking up. All right, another Breath of Fire. No Orb of Venom, so no way to actually attack that Orb of that Goblin Zeppelin right now, as the units are going to perhaps try to teleport out. Remember, Brewmaster is Staff of Teleportation inside, and now we see the Banshee. Well, how quickly that anti-magic shell was destroyed. Druid of the Claw rallied to the wrong part of the fight here, as the Goblin Zeppelin picking up some important units. There's a Staff of Preservation and a Staff of Teleportation in order to head back, well, to the mid-battlefield. Brewmaster perhaps can they get drink some Moonwell juice, make its way back out, perhaps use a Moonstone to try and make sure that these these Moonwells stay full right now, nearly at daybreak, and that's what you don't want to see, empty Moonwells at the break of dawn. No, this is not live. I think you, professional mailboxer, I think every time you come to my channel, you've always asked, is this live? And the answer is always no. So he's saying that the, yeah. unless it's genuine and honest, but I think on Twitch it says studying and casting professional replays. Or is it? Is it? Maybe I should change that to make sure it says, you know, learning from the pros do replays. Anyways, coming back around. Healing Spray. Alchemist, the third and final hero for Undead. Foggy's expansion quickly lost here. 61 supply compared to 64. Fan of Knives, Breath of Fire trying to blow over that back line. Mass Banshees with anti-magic shell working its magic as the group of the Claw are now taken down. Lich already got to level 3. Goblin Alchemist could be in trouble. Down to 113 hit points. Healing Spray trying to keep him alive. Ancient of War even joining in on the battle here. There's that potion of healing as we're looking at a couple of Banshees getting taken down, giving level 6 to the Warden. The Warden at level 6 is great. However, not enough mana for the Avatar of Vengeance as the Brewmaster, well, getting that health cone and trying to stay alive. There's a Staff of Preservation to keep it alive there. 44 supply compared to 50. Foggy trying to outlast, trying to take down the Alchemist. Alchemist finally does get taken down. There's a Death Coil on the Abomination. Death Knight still only sitting at level 4 right now, considering that there's a level 6 Warden out here on the battlefield as a Crypt Fiend gets saved back as well.
Players' forces are under attack.
Death Knight going after the Dryad. Death Knight, Lich, Abomination. Well, trying to retreat back here. And now we see KraV's plan. KraV is still trying to maintain economic superiority, even though he's going up against Foggy, who has had amazing Warden control and constantly harassing the gold mine and all of the harvesting that KraV's been doing. Foggy is rebuilding this lost Tree of Life. It does take quite a bit of time. Rebuild that Tree of Life and then entangle that gold mine. So KraV knows that he has about, well, he's going to have about a 2-minute window, 2.5-minute window before he needs to get back down here and put pressure on this gold mine if that is really his point and intent here. 50 supply compared to 49 right now. Warden, however, is already at level 6 with the Brewmaster not far behind at level 4, nearly level 5. If we see level 3 Breath of Fire and level 3 Fan of Knives working together, even the Abominations and those frontline units with anti-magic shell may not be able to suffer the incoming onslaught of magic damage. Alright, Scroll of Town Portal inbound again. A gold mine needs to be entangled here. Are we going to see another Drunken Haze, Breath of Fire? There we go. And now adding in more pressure. The Goblin Alchemist with Healing Spray trying to keep his own units alive here. Lich, and well, there's a Staff of Preservation for a save. Druid of the Claw. There's another Fan of Knives. The Alchemist is a high hit point based hero, so that's one of the reasons why he can join this game in at the later stages and still be okay at 725 hit points at level 1. However, that Invul Potion will not last forever, and well, we're looking at it, perhaps the death of the Alchemist again. Brewmaster down to 75 hit points. Death Knight trying to chase after. No, doesn't chase. What is going on here? Brewmaster able to get back. Are we going to see a Staff of Preservation? Staff of Preservation and then Staff of Teleportation. The rest of the army is fighting here. What is going on here? The Avatar of Vengeance is now essentially the hero. There's the Death Coil saving the Lich. KraV may actually be able to somehow come back and save here as the Warden and use the Swirl of Town Portal to head back out. Healing Spray trying to keep that Alchemist alive, trying to stay steady at 70 hit points and holding, but it looks like it's going to get taken down. The Rejuvenation not going to be there as the Warden now escapes away at 90 hit points. All right, the Avatar of Vengeance with full Spirit of Vengeance really working quite a bit of work as now the KraV coming back around. KraV needs to come down here, destroy the entangled gold mine. It has not done any mining yet, and KraV has played an amazing game there. All right. An amazing game going back and forth. KraV now, Druid of the Claw, gonna go ahead and get a heal here. Death Knight comes back around. Tree of Life, Tree of Life getting pressured. Foggy gonna lose this Tree of Life for a second time here at the 20-minute mark in this game. And now, what is Foggy's follow-up plan? KraV. Beautiful execution, and this could be considered a comeback or just a very strong play overall. Abomination also now has that disease cloud, so some of the dryads, well, no, some of the dryads and all of these other units may not be able to regenerate hit points quickly enough in these subsequent fights. Obsidian statue now reaching back here, gonna rejoin in on the battle here. 70 over 70 supply. Undead being able to set up that expansion and just be ahead economically throughout has given Undead such a powerful opening. All right. Death Knight. Looking at the Twitch chat, and it's like, hey, come on, my channel's not popular enough. I don't have hundreds of viewers, so there shouldn't be so much, you know, discussion going, or non-gameplay discussion happening in the chat right now. All right, that's for big channel and big boy problems. Let's just call them honest mistakes. Let's not hold it against each other at this stage in the game. All right. Maybe he just legitimately wants to know if I will ever be casting live. Don't know if I can ever give up my day job in order to pursue that. This is a hobby, and a wonderful hobby that I love to do, but that may just be all it can be. 73 supply compared to 49. Foggy, well, March of the Ents to get to this entangled gold mine, and now entangling it there. Back off to the north, main gold mine, a minute and a half, and another 5 minutes as well. Gargantuan Sea Turtle gonna go ahead. This creep camp's gonna get cleared up. Well, Death Knight shouldn't be here. Lich and the Alchemist still both need quite a bit of an experience boost, especially that Alchemist, since he cannot get healed by that Death Coil, essentially has less hit points overall than the Lich. Lich adding in a little bit of frost armor coupled with a Death Coil can really survive a large amount of time. Warden looking to come across here could summon an Avatar of Vengeance inside the base and well, use the graveyard for all of those corpses. Do I still play this game from time to time? I do, and then I realize how rusty I am, and I study my own replays, and I was like, you know what? I almost feel like when I'm playing the game, I'm doing a disservice to the game without how badly I'm playing. Left my cameo in Carson's chat. Yeah. All right. KraV continuing that economic push here, setting up that third gold mine off on the wing of Last Refuge, 10 o'clock position. And well, Foggy was really going to need to lean on his heroes if he plans to come away with the victory here. You see Banshees, all of them full on mana, anti-magic shell. We see Possession as well to grab control of one of those Druids of the Claw, making sure now that there is no expansion over here at the 4 o'clock wing. And KraV is ready to put some pressure. Foggy on one base compared to a potential 3-base KraV here, and now going to try and force an engagement. Avatar of Vengeance is summoned up. There are a couple of wisps nearby. We should be looking at some detonations. There's some Abolish Magic, Phantom Knives, Death Coil, Frost Nova, Breath of Fire should be coming down as well. And well, we are looking at some Fairy Dragons also up in the air. So the Banshees are staying in the backline position. The Crypt Fiends really just shaking off a lot of that well, Breath of Fire, Phantom Knives combination damage, as the Wisp really need to get some detonations down as well. Dryads could try to abolish magic and then remove some of that there. There's a Staff of Preservation, but it only brings them straight into the Tree of Eternity, and well, not very far away from all of the action at all. 79 compared to 41. There's another Breath of Fire. Alchemist could be in trouble. He's going to stand still, healing spray himself, and turn into a giant pin cushion just to buy time, followed by an Invul Potion. Now getting up to level 3. Level 2 healing spray now available as well. 79 supply compared to 34, and KraV looks like he has outlasted the harassment of the Warden and may have been able to, yes, get the win, taking down, well, would have been taking. I think there's enough animation, enough auto attacks heading towards that Brewmaster to take down the Brewmaster and perhaps follow up and take down that Warden. Let me know what you guys thought about this game in the comments below. A beautiful game where KraV was outscored. He was outscored. He did end up having a higher resource score in the end, but beautifully played, beautifully done. The amount of gold mine, the main difference there, but also just staying cool, calm under pressure, and allowing Foggy to get to level 6 on the Warden and not overreacting, coming up with a plan and executing it well. Let me know what you guys thought about this game in the comments below. For me, that's perhaps one of the better games I've seen where KraV's execution, not on the micro level, which Warcraft 3 is often known for, but on a macro gameplay understanding level, comes away with the victory.